What's up, people? Welcome to another episode of JT and Liz. I'm your girl, Jasmine T, and this is my co-host,
Liz.
Okay. We are two friends who met abroad while teaching English, but we both live back in the U.S., unfortunately. And we talk about our lives abroad all the time, so we figured we talk about it so much, might as well talk about it with you. So today's topic... Flo, listen, I just need a vent. I already texted Elizabeth earlier today and was like, look, topic, me just be my friend today. That's what I need. So, all right. It's something I've been thinking about for quite some time, but it really all started. I was talking to a buddy of mine, that guy that I met in Mexico, who recently, he ended up coming back to the States. When I talked to him, I didn't realize how long it was, but he was here 18 months in Florida. And he recently made his escape, because he even said like the 18 months back in the U.S. was like him doing a bid. He made his escape to Kenya.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, and just like, what was it? I think I saw he started YouTubing. And no, actually I hadn't even seen his YouTube videos yet. I was just talking to him and I was like, you sound so much lighter, you know? And he was like, yeah, you can't even think over there. And we were just talking about like everyday stuff, like the rat race, all that kind of stuff. But mainly, bruh, it's the bills.
Yeah.
They are never ending.
Yeah.
That 30-day cycle ain't no joke. I probably got like I think I got like a 1 week at the end of the month where there's nothing due. And you've seen my financial spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Elizabeth, so we are very different. She's rubbed off on me a little bit, but you gotta admit, so like when you first saw my financial spreadsheet, what was your, I guess, like initial...
You had a lot going on. I remember asking questions like, why do you need this? And you can't find a cheaper one somewhere. You can't go to Walmart. You can't...
Oh, yeah. She wanted me to get my bedding from Walmart, and that was wild. But you also know this too, I've cut down. And I never forget having a conversation with you once about like, I think I was just talking about things that were due when I was abroad at that time. And you were like, okay, I guess you need to figure out ways to spend less. And I was like, no, I need to make more. You know, like that's how our mindsets differ. And that was probably like 2018 or something like that.
Yeah.
But, and I'm not going to sit up here and say like, oh, woe is me, you know, all this other type of stuff. I'm just talking about how I feel on a day-to-day basis, like, the daily life here, there's just a lot more stress. The way my life is set up now, I'm self-employed. I run my business 100% by myself. Marketing, website, bookkeeping, all of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't rent my home. I own it. Home ownership is a biatch, you know? So, you know, got a car in the driveway. You know what I mean? Like, I got things, and I think that if you would have asked me like 10 years ago or even 5 years ago, like these are all things that I wanted, but it is very tiresome. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, the fees and dues associated with having, you know, dealer's license and stuff like that. I used to have an '07 Yukon that was paid for. I didn't realize like getting this 2021, I'd actually have to take it to the dealership and not Tony up the street. You know what I mean? It's like little things you don't really think about. And I kind of just, I don't know, man. I kind of sit and when I reflect back to life in Poland, and it wasn't even really like, okay, it wasn't really all about Poland. It was just how I was set up there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, my rent was $600. And I'm pretty sure that was utilities included. Like, it was utilities included. Like, my car was paid for here. I didn't have that. I was getting rent from this. And so anything that I had, either from like teaching English online or working with remotely for the real estate firm here, it was just like, it was excess, you know?
Yeah. And
I don't know. Sometimes they're just like, you don't know how good you had it, you know? And I just think about that kind of stuff. It's just really heavy. It's heavy.
It is. Especially when you have to think about that here.
Yeah. But you know what else? And you sent me a voice note the other day and something resonated. And it's kind of like, you know, I've actually had family members ask me, why don't you just get a 9-to-5? They stopped asking me at this point, but they had, they used to ask me a lot, you know, have you considered a 9-to-5, you know? And it's like, some are concerned about benefits and stuff like that. Because even here, I pay $303 a month for health insurance, plus, and that's health plus dental or whatever. And in Poland, I was paying $700 for the year.
Yeah.
You know, for probably similar or better quality. Yeah. So I don't want to do a 9-to-5 though, because I'm still holding on to like what being self-employed and being in control of my own schedule, like the space that gives me. It gives me the space to sit here and record with you and with a flexible schedule. It gives me the space to edit. It gives me the space to, you know, explore wall art or whatever thing, you know, whatever I want to do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's also sales, so it's unpredictable. So I have to do DoorDash on the weekends to maintain that space, because it's not even really freedom. I used to be like, oh yes, my life is free. Not really. Elizabeth, yeah, I've been going through it all day. So thoughts?
I think for me, it's like the health aspect. I feel that a lot, especially with like I have this surgery coming up. I am less concerned with like, I'm not afraid of like the surgery and all that stuff, but for me it's like childcare, you know, and then it's like what are these fees going to be looking like, the hospital bill, physical therapy bill, like that is weighing on me. Like I'm just like, and it almost makes you want to be like, well, I don't feel the pain all the time. You know, I can't run, but I can walk fast. Like it's one of those where it's like, maybe I don't need it just because I'm thinking about that bill.
Remember when you told me how you hurt yourself this time, hurt your leg this time?
Don't say this time like that. Like,
I mean, it's been 3 times. So... Elizabeth was running from a bee. Did you fall or slip? Or...
I just did a hard pivot.
And I told her she should have just got stung. Seriously, at this point.
Yeah, that would have fared better.
Yeah, and it's so, you know, and I had to apologize to you because a couple of weeks ago, something in my calf popped while I was playing flag football. If you're over 30, don't play flag football. That's basically what it boils down to. But ended up establishing care. I told you, going to a primary care physician here. And we were talking about my history, you know, over the past few years. And I was like, well, mainly Poland. And I was telling her about cardiologists, how I was supposed to get like an echocardiogram yearly or something. Not to get it into all the details, but basically what my follow-ups should have been and what I would have continued to do in Poland.
Right.
And she was like, she said, why were you seeing all those doctors? And I was like, because I could afford it.
Right.
Number one. And everything she was talking about, she said, okay, well, I'm going to refer you over to sports medicine. We're going to get some images, blah, blah. And I was just like, okay, do you know how much that costs though?
Yeah, it's like, I want to know up front now.
I want to know up front. Do you know how much that costs?
Yeah.
And she's kind of laughing, but I'm like,
I'm for real.
And we both have insurance, and that's like, even with insurance, how much is that going to cost though?
Right. Right.
So,
And it shouldn't be like this. Life shouldn't be like this. It shouldn't.
mm-mm,
And I feel like if there's an easier way, why not pursue that?
mm-hmm,
And for me, I feel like the easier way is abroad. For you, you feel like an easier way is abroad.
mm-hmm.
And I mean, at this point, that's just the goal.
Yeah. Because realistically, like, I make more here,
Mm-hmm.
but so, okay, when I sell a mobile home, for example,
Uh-huh.
right? And I get a lump sum.
Mm-hmm.
I, in my mind, I celebrate for a moment, but I'm like, okay, this is going to last me 2 to 3 months,
Yeah.
right? And who knows when my next deal is coming.
Right.
I'm actively working. I'm sowing seeds, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not sure if this is going to pop in 2 weeks or 2 months.
Yeah.
And that's another reason why I do DoorDash, is to kind of, like make it last longer, you know, like
Right.
I'm not always just pulling from that. Like I'm not, okay, sitting like, okay, when's the next deal going to come? Like I'm actively trying to make it last in a way.
Yeah.
And right now, you know, I probably got 2 months, 2, 3 months, but I do have like 2 irons in the fire right now. But again,
You
I
feel the
don't know
clock
if they're,
ticking.
that's what it is the stress is like, it's always something ticking.
Yeah.
Am I doing enough? Am I, you know, like, what else could I be doing? Okay. And that's, so it's something that you mentioned. Okay, like, I've done XYZ.
Yeah.
What else? But you're already at Z. You've already done so much for today. Have you rested? Have you sat? Have you ate?
Right.
You know, have you eaten
And I think
something?
that goes back to like what we were talking about before when it comes to like self-care and just like it's easier to do abroad because like it's here. All what you do and then all the extras is literally to stay afloat.
In Warsaw, up the street from my apartment, there was a massage place that had, it's going to sound crazy, but it was happy hour from 1 to 3.
It did. It does. Oh yeah.
Oh, you said it sounds crazy?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But it's just like, okay, lunch rush, like people aren't coming in for massages or whatever, right? So it was half off massages from one. Okay, that's probably what I should have said. So from 1 to 3, it was half off. And so it was like, I don't know how long I did it, probably like a month or something. And then I was just like, I don't think I need massages.
How much was it?
I don't remember.
Wow,
Because remember,
it's so cheap. It's like,
yeah, it was 50% off. But I was just going to get massages because it was midday, and why not?
yeah. I don't see nothing wrong with that.
But that's, so as far as self-care,
Yeah.
Elizabeth, my feet look like this. You know what I mean? Like, my nails ain't done. There was even I used to get my nails done all the time too in Warsaw. Yeah, oh my gosh.
I mean,
Yeah.
this is why I'm locking my hair. I don't have the time with the kids. I don't have the energy with the kids. Like, between Mo working, like there's no help. It's just me. Like, I can't maintain myself. And the last time I had an issue with my hair, I cut it all off. Remember?
You did.
And it didn't hit me till later. Like, oh my goodness, I have no hair, and it just freaked out. And like, I don't want that to happen. So before I get there, what can I do? And then locks just popped in my head. I was like, oh, I can do that. That can work. Because when I do have the time to do my hair, I'll put it in twists anyway and try to stretch it out for the week. And then I'll do it again on Sunday or Saturday or whatever. So I was like, you know what? This will help me not chop my hair off, not have an episode.
Yeah, you
So
tend
this
to.
is what I can do.
I'm not gonna call them knee-jerk decisions.
You know what it is? It's like it builds up so much. And so that time I cut my hair off the first time, I was about to have surgery, and the surgery for my knee, and I was, trying to pack and do all this stuff, and I was like, all right, I need to do my hair, and I'll put it in twists so it can last a little while, and I went to go do it, but it had been a while since I did it. It was taking a long time to detangle, and I was like, I still got stuff to pack. There, now I can come in. And then it didn't hit until after when, like, I'm still, because I can't move because of my leg. And I'm like, I don't got any hair.
What did Morris say when he saw you?
I don't remember. It was just
It was a
like,
blur.
everything was a blur. You know, that's the thing. Like, you're in so much of survival mode. Mm-hmm. That should not have happened to me. But you're so much in survival mode where it's like, shit, I just gotta, okay, what's next?
Yeah, that's a different level. I mean, and it's something we should talk about, maybe off camera. But I do remember you cutting off your hair, but I thought it was like postpartum or some shit.
It was probably that too.
Oh.
But, you know, having the surgery so soon after postpartum, I mean, after having the baby, yeah, all of that was like all together. But I think essentially too, like, the culture here is not built around like taking care of yourself. Where in Korea, you go to the jjimjilbang, you sit in the water, like you're still, you get a scrub. You know what I'm saying? Like families do things like this. Here, like it's not like that.
People here eat together.
Yeah.
They eat. They feast together.
Yeah. And as we know, not healthy things all the time. Which, you know, so, yeah, healthcare is definitely, and, you know, when you take care of your stuff like that, when you do your nails, whatever, like, you feel good, you know? So, I get it.
I'm trying to figure out if I missed anything. I was all over the place. Like, I've really been, my emotions have been like this.
Yeah.
And,
but like, how crazy is it though? Like, is it like, I'm so like this, I'm just about to book a flight. Do you think it'll ever get like, I'm just about to go?
I got this thing.
Huh?
I got Remy. That's really, and you know, I tell people, I'm like, when he crosses over the golden rainbow, I probably, when my mood starts,
all this when your mood dips, you just gonna bounce.
Yeah.
And what do you think you'll do abroad?
I don't know. Depends on what's in my bank account.
Okay.
But you know what else too? I was talking to a friend of mine.
Does the location also depend on how much is in your bank account, or is it just like, I'll figure it out wherever I go?
The old me wants to say yes, but knowing that I'm supposed to be practicing frugal and mindfulness, I should say no, right? I should say. But no, real quick, I was talking to a friend of mine, and because earlier when I text you, like if we're talking about that roller coaster, right?
Yeah.
It was down, bro.
Yeah, I felt it.
It was real low.
I felt it.
And then I got an email about. Sorry. Okay, but then I got an email about a deal I've been working on, like one of those irons in the fire that I talk about. And it's hot. It might be next month hot.
Oh, okay.
And my mood went back up.
Okay.
And I'm like, I was talking to, like I said, my friend about a similar situation. And she was like, why is your mood attached to the amount, you know, the money in your bank account or whatever.
Right.
And I'm like,
well, I mean, right now it's livelihood, right? Like, you gotta survive, you have bills.
But I mean, I've already mentioned, I'm sitting on 2 months. I'm okay for 2 months, you know? So,
but you're also paying off debt though.
Slowly.
Yeah.
Slowly. If the way I was living in Warsaw, the way I was living in 2021, 2022, I should have been debt free. Like there was no way I should have been going to like fly. Once I left Mexico, I flew back to Mexico.
Yeah.
Just for a conference class.
Yeah.
I went to not Live Nation, Afro Nation. After getting scammed $600 for a ticket, I was like, F it. If I'm gonna spend $600 to get scammed, I might as well pay another ticket and go see it. Ended up paying like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
$1,200 to go to Afro Nation. I spent 2 weeks in Portugal hopping around Airbnb.
Well, to be fair, you were trying
Well,
to
yeah,
see if that was
that
going to be
is
the
true.
next spot.
That is true. I flew to Berlin to get my hair done.
Okay. I do remember that. I do remember that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was beautiful, though. Yeah. So I'm just like, all right. You didn't know how
But
to
you know
issue.
what, though? Because, you know, I be thinking about that, and I always try to, like, think about, like, all right, like, how can those moments, like, help me in the future? Or what can I learn? And it's like, you had a moment in time in your life where you were like carefree, and so you know what that feels like, so now you have a drive to get back there.
Mm-hmm.
And plus I feel like in general everybody needs to have like a carefree moment like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then think about the people who have never had a carefree moment like that.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I feel you. I
Yeah.
feel you.
So you have something to be like. It's kind of like what is it? Steve Harvey, where he's like everybody should sit.
I didn't know you was
Because
gonna
you
quote
looking
Steve
like
Harvey.
no, because he's like everybody should sit in first class once, because then you would never want to go back to economy. You're gonna make sure that no matter whatever is the situation, whenever you fly, you're gonna try to make sure it's first class because you want that same experience. Like it'll level you up. So you need to do things that like levels you up at least once, so you get that feeling, and so you'll have that drive to get that feeling back.
So, you and I have been confident and brave enough to get on a plane and travel to an entire different continent by ourselves. I've been confident enough, brave enough to try stand-up comedy. You know what I mean? I've been to start my own business. But sometimes in little creative things, and even with YouTube, like sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't know what people will think. What are people's opinions going to be? And even when it comes down to like something that I make, I can show it to y'all, but like if I show it, like I was showing my wall art to a neighbor and she thinks it's amazing. And I was just like, oh, okay. And it's kind of like I live in a very artsy neighborhood too. And a lot of people selling their creations like in the neighborhood up the street and stuff. And so I'm like, I want to try and do something like that. So that's, again, this is what I don't want to lose, because I do meet a lot of people who I'm like, okay, what do you do? Oh yeah, I'm in banking. I do, or I work blah blah blah. I work here. I'm like, they're like, what do you do? I'm like, I buy and sell mobile homes. I do YouTube. I make wall art sometimes. and then they'll say something like, oh yeah, I would love to be home right now doing something with t-shirts. Something random, but they also have something they like to try or something they like to do, but they don't have enough time for it.
Right.
And I'm like, all right, I don't want to ever have that to where it's like, okay, I don't have enough time to do the things that are coming out, or in my mind to actually, I feel like I owe it to myself to try. So.
Right. So if you did have a 9 to 5, when do you think you would have time to you're not even going to entertain the thought?
Nope. We've just been all over. Anything else you want to?
No. I mean, I feel like when the dream is consistent, it should definitely be made a goal, which is what we're doing. Because I don't feel like since we've been back, we've had small moments where it was like we've been back and it's like, yeah, okay, we're looking for a house and all of this stuff. But then it's like, it's not a good market and a whole bunch of other factors, and it's just like, like we're playing the waiting game, and it's just like, we could it's like we're putting our lives on hold, and it's just like, no, we can live. We should live and not wait.
Right.
Yeah.
You made a comment, when the dreams are consistent, it should be made a goal. Did Steve Harvey say that one too, or?
No, I
Was
just
it?
thought of it.
Okay. All right. That was nice,
It wasn't.
Elizabeth. You should put that on a shirt, child.
Oh, yeah. Because I will forget it. Well, it's
Yeah. Well,
recorded, so.
we recording it, so it's all good. But no, I mean that's exactly. So if somebody might, okay, old buddy that now lives in Kenya, when
Yeah.
I told him about the wall art, he was
Yeah.
like, is this something you've done before? And
Mm-hmm.
then I went back in my mind. I was just like, okay, in college, I actually started an LLC called Rekindled Furniture and Decor,
Shut
right?
up, for
And that's why
real?
I bought the Yukon because I was like, all right, I'm gonna need to haul all my furniture and stuff, you know?
Oh my
And so,
goodness.
but at that time, it's 2012,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I just didn't know. Pretty sure YouTube was around, but I there was just a learning curve. Like this is something I
Yeah.
had in my mind, and then like I painted. I remember I painted this chair,
Uh-huh.
and I was just looking at it, and I was just like, nah, that ain't what I'm going for. But I didn't know how to fix it, you
Yeah.
know, and kind of gave up because I was doing trial and error, but I just didn't know the solutions.
Yeah.
I never took a class or anything like that. Um, and then just put that on hold or whatever, and then I on hold for quite some time actually,
Uh-huh.
and then carpentry classes because still interested in that type of stuff, and then even during the pandemic, I would refinish furniture and send y'all pictures and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and I never sold anything. It was just always for personal use, and
Right.
then I would always try to figure out like, okay, like if this is something I really was interested in, how could I actually ship it and things
Mm-hmm.
like that. If I wanted to open a store or something. And then here, when I decided, okay, I'm actually going to decorate my walls and stuff, and then I'm looking at World Market, West Elm, Wayfair, and I look at the prices, and I'm like, ew. So then I made a piece for myself. I was like, this was fun. I like this. It's almost the
Mm.
same feeling as like refinishing like a dresser or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's on a smaller scale. And so
Yeah.
sent you photos, sent Margaret photos. My aunts love it. And then sent him some photos, and he was like, oh, you're actually good at this. And I'm like, thank you. So I'm like, okay, let's explore and see what happens because, again,
Yeah.
that's something that's been kind of reoccurring over a decade at this point,
Yeah.
and you owe it to yourself to try. Because even with the stand-up comedy, the first time that I ever actually like stood up and told a story in front of people
Mm-hmm.
was 2017, and I didn't try it again till 2021.
Uh-huh.
And I tried, for a couple months or whatever, but
Yeah.
I got to explore it, and I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe I'll pick it up again. I don't know, but like it was there, and I was
Right.
like, okay, owe it to yourself to try.
Right.
So,
I think something I'm also like realizing like the older I get, it's like I don't want to like in the future when I'm much older be like, dang, I wish I would have X, Y, and Z. Like that feeling of regret,
mm-hmm,
like I do not want that.
mm-hmm,
And so for me now creatively, it's really about doing all the things I have ever thought about
mm-hmm.
doing. I remember probably like, I think it was before my son was born, so like 2 years ago, his dad, Mo's dad, I think he said something like, oh, for his birthday, all he wanted was for all his children to write down like five, to write down 5 things they were going to accomplish in 5 years or something like that. Like,
Okay.
right? And I was like, oh, can I do it? This sounds
Mm-hmm.
fun. And so one of the things I remember writing down was I'm going to write 5 novels. I'm going to write 5 books, right?
Mm-hmm.
And earlier today, and I didn't start thinking about this until you started talking. Earlier today, so I had the 2 novels I wrote. I got the proofs back for the 2 journals. I didn't tell you, but they look good.
Okay.
So
You
they
can
about to
send
go
those.
live.
Okay.
And I started working on another one last night. And I was like, oh, wait, that'll be 5. That'll be 5 books that I mean the journals, but still.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, that'll be 5. And I remember writing down that I'm gonna write 5 books, and
Okay.
I created 5. I was like, oh wow.
Okay. Yeah, because I think we've mentioned once in the video Liz's story, we talked about you being self-published or whatnot.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, so we're gonna put links to your stuff. I think we should do that. Elizabeth, I'm not a reader, so
yeah.
I wish her a whole bunch of success, of course. But
we
I
have
ain't
an
never read one of the
understanding.
books. Huh?
We have an understanding too.
Yeah, we
Like,
do. We have an understanding.
like I'm not one of the friends where I'm like, you have to read my book,
Mm-hmm.
especially if I know like that's not your thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now I've told you stuff, and I believe I might have sent you paragraphs like, hey,
I think I bought the book.
oh, did you?
Because I think you had it. It was an ebook first, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
I bought the ebook.
Yeah. Yeah.
I bought the ebook. My mama bought the ebook. Yeah. We're those types of friends. But we ain't crack open the ebook. That's what.
So now we're talking about your art, right? When do you think you'll actually put it on, like, a site for sale or something?
I don't know. At the moment, I'm doing like just fun documenting. Maybe it'll be YouTube shorts.
Okay.
Yeah. I have been recording.
Okay.
Yeah. So it'll be, I guess, here on Jasmine TTV.
Yeah.
Because that's why I named it this, because I didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah. No, that's smart. That was really smart.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, Morris and I recorded a little bit
When?
last night
Okay.
because
Now that sounded crazy. Okay.
no, because he is sending out he's filling out applications for different places in China, and they require like an intro video, and so he just finished using my laptop to record. So I went over there. I'm showing him like how to edit or whatever, and then when we're done, I hit record, and I'm just asking him questions like, "So how do you feel?"
Yep. That's good. That's good.
Yeah. So we're recording too. I ain't gonna put nothing out, of course, like until I.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I feel really weird. And even now, like the recording, I think it's easier for me because it's going on your channel. Like, I'm not uploading it. Even though I know I'm obviously seen, it just feels different. Like, it's going on your channel.
That's we'll
Right?
talk about
I
that.
know.
That's
I know.
it's your life, Elizabeth. It's because I get to do all the editing? Is that what it is?
No, I don't know. Because even this, like, I recorded it, and I don't even know if for real I'll, like, put it out. But I know, of course, when I do put it out, it'll be on my channel. But it's like, do I want to be that open? Which is weird because we over here talking, and it's about to be uploaded on your channel.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, do I want to share? It's just weird. I don't know.
Okay.
It's weird.
Elizabeth, you're like an onion. But no, I think that's good that y'all are recording simply because you made a comment not too long ago on an episode how you wish you would have like kept more.
You're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
that's actually what I thought you were gonna say.
No, totally slipped my mind again.
But all right, y'all. I think that's gonna be it for us today. Shout out to consistent dreams that should be goals, and shout out to y'all just listening to females talk about feelings. Yeah, that's about it. Anything else you want to add?
No. Bye.